What's up and what's going on, everybody? My name is Meesa.
And my name is Meah.
Also known as M&M, and you are listening to your #1 source of inspiration for this generation. And listen, Meah, this is the moment we all have been waiting for.
That's right. We have a very special in-studio guest with us. Listen, she has infectious energy, uplifting lyrics.
Right.
Man, listen, she's been making big waves on the internet and music, and she's been making a lasting impact on the Christian hip-hop space. We want to welcome Childlike CiCi to M&M Live Radio.
What's good?
CiCi, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Thank you guys for having me.
I love that she's giving that energy because we were just talking off air about how this promo, you've been doing a promo run.
Yes.
You know, so how has that been, going to all the platforms, probably answering the same questions over and over?
Nah, it ain't even been the same questions. I just don't do interviews typically. Like, I haven't done much. Y'all in the group of first few interviews, so I'm blessed to be here. That's going to be stuck in my memory for life.
Yeah,
But,
I love that.
Yeah, nah, it's been good, though. I try not to complain about things you pray for.
Yeah.
You're blessed to be here, but I am tired a little bit.
No, I feel you. I was going to say that next year, you're in a new season. Like, and there's a lot of new things happening, exciting things. Talk about what that feels like for you right now.
It feel like an answered prayer, for real. It feels like I really feel blessed because I was just telling someone else, I feel like God really don't be putting me in situations that I'm not ready for, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so I feel blessed. It's a lot, but, I'm growing in it, but I still feel ready. Like, I feel like it's a season. Like, it's really time for me to be here. Like, no, I'm in the right season.
I love your energy. I love your transparency. I love your music. We're all gonna jump diving headfirst into everything in just a moment. But one thing that I love about you is that you're so personable. Like, you're so down to earth. You're real cool, calm, and collected. Like, you got your style, you got your swag and everything. And even talking to you into the studio, I got a chance to know you a little bit. And you were telling me that you're from New York.
Yes.
Born in New York.
Yes.
You currently live in North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Now tell me what has life been like for you? Like, growing up in New York, now coming down to North Carolina, is there like any culture shock or culture shift for you?
No. So I was in, tiny bit, but not too much.
Okay.
Because I lived in New York till I was like 4.
Okay.
And then I moved to Virginia for some time, and then I moved to North Carolina. But I've been in North Carolina most of my life. Wasn't really a culture shock because I feel like I've been on the South for the most part.
Okay.
But I do recall finding down south people a little weird at first.
Weird?
No, it was me though.
Okay.
Like, I ain't saying the down south people weird.
Okay,
I'm
I
like,
got you.
but it was like, they would say hi and stuff. I used to think that was so weird. Like,
you serious?
going like people like being friendly,
yeah.
like really, I do remember that, like thinking like, why are they being so friendly? Like, are they really trying to like take me or something? But then I realized, this is just normal. This is like life on this side.
Yeah.
So that was one thing I do remember. But for the most part, it was like I grew up in the South. But my family from the North, so I still feel like that culture aside from that end to be like,
Now talk to me a little bit about your childhood. You talked a lot about growing up and life being young and being in New York and then now growing up in North Carolina.
Yeah.
What was it like for music? Like, what role did music play in your life?
Music played a big part of my life, but probably not in the best way. And I think that's why I'm so passionate about it now.
Yeah, talk about it.
Because I understand like the impact it had on me, just the way I thought, the way I viewed certain things, the certain environments and stuff I felt comfortable in growing up. Like, I listened to a lot of battle rap. I don't think that was as much as a bad thing for me, besides the fact that I already had anger issues. Like, as a kid. So it's like, you got anger issues, then you listen to battle rap where it looked like they about to
you was on 10 all the time.
hit somebody. It's like, that's probably not the best combination.
Got you, yeah.
But I don't feel like that had as much of an impact on me as like just, I don't like to say like, just certain type of music, because I feel like it just played a part in, like I said, like what I felt comfortable with. But like by the time I got like in my teenage years, like if you listen to something long enough, like I don't know, can I say, I'm gonna try to use a technical word. I don't know what I can say. Like marijuana, for example. Like, you listening to people talk about it all the time and stuff. By the time the opportunity presents itself, you're like, it ain't that, like, everybody's talking about it. It's like subconscious things that can happen sometimes. So I feel like it had more of a negative impact on me. But it also had an impact on me to where it did like comfort me at times, because it was certain music that I felt like I was relating to in a sense. So if you're talking about listening to music, I don't know if you're just talking about me making it or listening to it. But yeah. That's it.
Well, when did you find the love for it? Making music?
Making music, since I can remember, for real.
Really?
Yes. Like, I don't feel like I can pinpoint an age. Like, I just remember I used to like writing short stories, writing poems, writing music. And then it got to a point where, and this is like young, like I just, like even being young, it got to a point where I would write a song and then I couldn't remember how the song sounded. And that used to frustrate me. Like I would write a song and then I couldn't remember the melody and stuff. So I even got to the point where I started to like memorize. I wouldn't even write. I would just like make songs and like literally memorize them out loud just so I can remember how I said it and stuff like that. So it was always like an outlet for me to like express myself. Yeah.
So when it came to, so that's the music side.
Yeah.
So what about the faith side? So when did faith come? Was like faith a big value, family value in your household growing up too?
Yeah. So I have an interesting dynamic with that too. So my mom and dad are both ministers.
Okay.
But when I was like 8, I would say they got a divorce. So once they divorced, it was just my mom. It's 4 of us total. Technically, it was 5 because my sister had a baby like really young. So it was like 4 or 5 of us total. So with working and stuff like that, we were in church, but it wasn't like every single Sunday like rigid in church. But I will say it was a lot of seeds planted. So I would say like all my life I had a love for Jesus. I had a love for God. And I never, like, denied him as Savior, I would say, basically. But I would say, like, for most of my life, he was not Lord of my life whatsoever, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you weren't, so I'm guessing you weren't into Christian music then, I guess, when it came to creating music. So, what was that part of you like? Then what musically, when it came to your...
Creative?
Creative.
I just rapped about what I, like, was attracted to. Like, I was just attracted to more, like, gangster stuff. Like I rapped about violence. I rapped about
murdering,
smoking. Angry, so I can see that.
Not killing necessarily,
not killing.
But like I guess aspects of killing. Like,
Got you.
You know, I don't know. I just rap crazy. You're typical. Just turn on the radio. That was
turn on the radio. That's exactly what it was.
So when did the switch happen for you? When it was like, okay, I want God to be more than just a Sunday. I want for you. Like, when did the shift happen where you took your relationship with God personal?
Yeah. So y'all want the full story?
Yeah.
All right, we got time. Y'all said we got time. All right. So basically, it was 2019. I was going through stuff in life. I had a bad breakup to someone I was basically dating like most of my high school into early adulthood. And I started to consecrate. I was about to say consecrate, not that. Concentrate. I can't talk sometimes. Like on music, like more as like something, more not like a distraction, but I was like, man, I'm finna just like I was so locked into that. I'm finna like really try to lock in with this. But the problem was I ain't had no money at this time. Like I ran out of money. So I was like, I'm gonna just like record myself though. Like I was like, I got a laptop. I really had a tablet. I got my phone. So I'm going to play these beats on this tablet. And I'm going to use this phone. And I'm going to just record myself. So I started recording myself a lot. And I would just post them on Instagram. Or post them on Facebook like I was just posting. And they started to get a lot of attention. Like nothing compared to what God has been doing now. But for back then, like how Instagram and stuff worked. Like getting 100, 200 comments, all that stuff on my stuff. I'm like, okay, this is starting to move. So because of that, different people and stuff started reaching out, but I wasn't even doing it for that long either. Like it was a few months into that like a lot of people started to reach out trying to like work with me like, oh, you got management, stuff like that. Wow. So I was going to have a conversation with a particular group of people, and it was probably like a week before I was about to have that conversation. And like I got like a DM, and I always preface this story because I feel like I know it sounds silly, but I'd be like, this really what happened, y'all. But I had got like a message, And the page was like, we're the Illuminati and we want to recruit you.
Oh my goodness. They DMing people on Instagram.
The Illuminati DMing people. I really don't think it was the I don't think it was the Illuminati. Someone was definitely probably trolling me, but who knows these days.
Did they have the eye?
Yes, they had like the...
They had the eye.
They had like the, you know, the like on the dollar sign thing and the thing, whatever.
Hilarious.
But yeah, they was on that type and they was like, yeah, we trying to recruit you or whatever. So I'm looking at the message and I'm laughing. Like I laughed at the message. But then it was like, God is just so real and good. Like people really don't understand when I say like I have a relationship with God. Like it's no religious stuff because the religious stuff was not changing me. Like I was still doing the same things in and out of church and still not transformed at all. But in this moment, it was like I got the DM, I read it, I laughed at it, and it's like God spoke to me in that moment. And I tell people, like, I think before you build a relationship with God, it's probably hard to discern the voice of God unless if it feels like extremely audible. And it was somewhat audible, but it was more audible in the sense that it was almost like a knowing to me.
Yes.
That the thoughts I was having was not my thoughts, if that makes sense.
Yes.
I'm like, I don't even think like this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think like this at all. So he was like, I was just saying to myself, like, man, I would never sell my soul. Like, people are crazy. Who would really sell their soul to be famous? Like, I would never do anything like that. And he was like, you're doing the same thing. Wow. And I like I felt it. Like,
felt that conviction.
Yes, I felt it immediately.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, how? And he was like, you're using the gifts that I gave you to glorify unnecessary violence, addiction, promiscuity, like all these different things. Like, what kingdom do you think you're like glorifying and pushing? What agenda do you think you're pushing? Like, what do you think you're who do you think you're glorifying? Glorifying, and why do you think you're doing it? You're doing it because you want to be rich, you want to be famous, you want to be known. So it's like, beyond that, in that moment, he kind of revealed to me as well that like people have, and I'm kind of paraphrasing now because it was like more specific, but people have almost begin to try to, what's the word I'm looking for? Like exaggerate what it looks like to like sell your soul or be demonic and stuff.
Yes, it could
like
be
they
subtle.
think it got to be really overt.
Yes.
Like it got to be sacrifice a family member, do a seance, all that stuff. And I always say for reference, I really do believe those things happen, but it's like, it's a lot more, it's much more simple than people think. And like that conviction hit me like really hard to the point where I couldn't even ignore it. At that time, I was smoking like every day. I would smoke to go to sleep. I would smoke before I eat. I would smoke when I wake up. It's like I couldn't even smoke. Like I was gonna go smoke that night, but I was like, I'm like kind of messed up by that. So then within that same night as well, I get on YouTube and a video pops up and the guy is like a white guy. He's just like talking, like he's not even a preacher necessarily. It's kind of like a podcast type setup and he's just talking, and he's talking to like a lot of the stuff like I was feeling and dealing with. And then at that point, I'm like, this is God really, like, I can't even deny, like, this is not a coincidence. Like, God is really talking to me. Because I wasn't even watching no Christian, I tell people, like, the algorithm these days. I was not watching none of that stuff. I wasn't even looking for it. It's like, how the heck did this even pop up on my stuff? So I just remember, like, I was crying. And even with that, I cried. I ain't pray or nothing. I just cried and I just went to sleep. Like, I just fell asleep. The next day I woke up and I was like, I know what had happened, but it was just like, I don't know what to do with this necessarily. So I got up, I rolled my blunt, did like my same thing that I would normally do. Me and my older brother was living together at the time. And we were smoking in the kitchen. And I was like, and I just said it. I was like, bruh, I think God is telling me to stop making the music I'm making and to stop smoking. And now at this point I am high, he's high, and he's like, well, just stop then. He was like, all right, stop. And I was like, all right. And that was literally that was like 5 years ago. I never smoked again, even with, and this is why I'd be like, God is like so real. Even living in that house, I lived in that house like a year and a half after that. Everybody still smoked. I didn't even have the desire anymore. Like nothing in me even wanted to to smoke or anything. So it was like that moment basically. Like even with the music, I feel like that took like another few days because I was like, man, I started at 0. I'm getting followers now. I got all these comments on these videos and stuff. But I deleted. I was like, I just deleted everything, deleted all my social media. I was like, I'm going to just be obedient. And I just basically just was like, all right, I'm going to stop. And from there for like, that was like 2019. I just focused on my relationship with God for like those I didn't even think I was like, oh, I'm finna do Christian rap. I didn't even think I was gonna do music again. Yeah. Cause I just like to rap. So I was like, if I can't rap, I didn't even know any like, I discovered like Lecrae and Kanye West like down the road, but I didn't really think I could rap the way I rap and rap for God. So I just figured I'm gonna be obedient. God said stop, rapping. So I'm gonna just stop rapping and I just like focus on my relationship with God. But it was like that literal like turning point. It was like an actual like encounter. Yeah.
That is first of all insane. Yeah. To hear your story, to hear your testimony, and for you were slick like you weren't a brand new believer, but you were just kind of like just straddling the fence just a little bit. And it's like that one moment happened, that one conversation with God took place. And it's like everything was just 180 for you, going in one direction. Now, was there ever a moment in those series of events that you were like, okay, well, teetering back and forth, like, okay, maybe I should go back to smoking weed. Maybe I should go back to...
Well, I would say, like, when it came to weed and stuff, like, no. Like, I felt so free. I was like, I will never smoke again. Like, for one, eating up your money, like, I was like, I'll never... Yeah. I didn't feel tempted. Like, I was done. When he freed me, I'm like, I'll be stupid to, like, go back to that. Yeah. But, no, but when it came to the music... I remember I felt like God was calling me to make music again. And I was like, well, I didn't even think Christian rap was an option. So I was like, well, I'm going to try to make clean music. So I remember I went to a studio session and I tried to make a clean song and I got so convicted. Like I didn't even finish the session. I was like, I can't do this either. Wow. Like trying to like say, I'm going to just make like a clean song. I was like, this don't feel right either. So I had that moment and besides that, it was more so moments of me just feeling like, because when God saved me, it was like so radical. Like I was one of those people that was like on fire. So like I was telling like everybody. I'm trying to tell everybody like, give your life to Jesus. God is real. This is not a joke. It's not just a church thing. Yeah. The Holy Spirit is real. Speaking in tongues is real. Like all this stuff is real. Like I was one of those people like going crazy. Like
were you like calling folks at 2:00 in the morning being like, man, God told
not
me.
Not 2 in the morning.
Like strangers. You'd be like, have a great day. You know, Jesus.
Yes, like I was like
the
radical.
only reason why I'm asking is because like there's moments where I come across new believers or like radical believers that's like, I have this revelation. And they be going crazy. Like, and I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love to see it. But it's just like, it's 12 midnight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We sleep. Yeah. I was wondering if that was you.
No, I wasn't calling people. But I definitely had like a zeal that was probably like a little too much. Like I was doing a lot. Yeah. And then I was like, just really like God had also given me like I had started to get like a real, just crazy appetite for like the Word of God, sermon, stuff like that. Because I remember, like I said, I was in and out of church growing up. But it was like I went to church when my mom would make us go. But fall asleep, I ain't really listening to nothing the pastor was saying. Gotcha. But like it's at this point, I was going to church. And you know how people like, take your time, pastor. I was serious. I was like, take your time. Like, let me write. Like, I was like, Monday, Sunday, like any service they had, I was trying to be there reading. Like it's like he gave me like I want to say unnatural only because of how like it happened. Yes. Like a crazy like desire. So then it got to a point though, like down the road, I started to like feel that like burn out, if that makes sense. And I was just like, yeah, maybe I am doing too much. Like, maybe I don't got to read every day or pray every day or really be at church every day. Like, I can still have a relationship with God. Like, I don't have to be doing all this. And I had that kind of season, but it wasn't, like, beneficial at all. Like, I can feel, like, my mind, like, starting to, like, think about things, like, going backwards in a sense. And God kind of had to work with me in that area to say, like, you can never do too much. Like, of course, there's a way now I've matured to be more understanding, to understand, like, girl, you didn't save yourself. Like, God saved you. And if someone was talking to you when you first got saved, before you got saved, you would be looking at them like it takes a spiritual
maturity.
Yeah, maturity to understand certain things. So, like, he matured me in a way, like, I want you to have that same zeal and desire, but in a way to where it's like, I don't talk to people anymore trying to save them.
Got you.
Like, it's like, I understand that I'm either going to plant a seed, so you may hear something for the first time that's going to plant a seed. I'm going to water a seed that God has already maybe put in your heart, and God's going to, like, do the work. Like, he's going to save you. Yeah, like, it's not my job to, like, try to radically save everybody or something. Even though that's my desire, I pray to get saved because I really understand what it did for me. But it's like, it's not my job necessarily. And even with the reading and stuff, it's like, you can't read too much. There's no such thing as you read too much or you pray too much. Like, so it was more of that thing. That was a long answer. But
I love hearing people's stories.
Yeah.
And I love even hearing how radical it was for you, you know, to have that revelation from God. Now talk to us about how we got to the name Childlike CiCi.
Yeah, so the CiCi is everyone, my real name's Sierra, so everyone calls me CiCi already. And I wanted to make sure I kept something of what everyone already called me, because I didn't want to, like, be a new person, if that made sense. Like, who is rapper D Bong or something? Bong was probably a bad what's name, but something like some random name. Yeah, so I was like, I'm definitely keeping CiCi. So from there, I was just like, I need to find something like around it. And then I was reading Matthew 18, and I believe one of the disciples had asked Jesus, like, who's the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And he was talking about just a child like this, like childlike. It's all around just like childlike faith, humility, stuff like that. So always being willing to learn, just taking on the faith and the mindset of a child. So
do you remember the first song you wrote as Childlike CiCi?
Yeah, it was it's a song. It's out right now. It's out. It's called People to Be Good. Yeah, that was the first song I did, for sure. It's even that song though, I feel like I don't feel like it's the best song. Like, I feel like I've grown, like, as I've even matured in Christ, I feel like some of my songs have more like more substance. Yeah. But yeah.
How have you seen yourself grow as an artist from when you first made the decision to be Childlike CiCi to who you are today?
That's a good question. So, like, okay, things happen even in this space. Like, things happen, I would say, somewhat fast, because I started in 2022. By the time late 2022, 2023, like, my stuff started, like, going viral and stuff. Yeah. So it's almost like things started happening faster than faster than, like, even my music was maturing, if that makes sense. Okay. I don't really know how to describe it, but I feel like I didn't have much self-awareness of my music. I was like, I'm going to just rap, I'm going to just make a song. But then I don't know. I do know. It was God. I hate saying I don't know. It was God. But it's like I just started to get this self-awareness, like, yes, it's going viral. Yes, it's doing good, but you can do better. Yeah. Like, it don't mean just because that's working, you just stay at the same level. Because at this point, I'm recording, like, on GarageBand.
Yeah. Shout out to Garage.
I ain't even have the, I don't know what mic this is, but that's for sure, because that's what I be using most of the time now. But I had, like, a cheap $50 mic, the little interface. Like, I was like, I'm just making stuff work. Like, I'm getting the beats off YouTube. I'll buy the exclusive rights and stuff. Like, I was just doing stuff, like, real ghetto. But it was like, just because it's working, that don't mean you just stay there. So, like, I've just grown as far as saying, let me be more intentional about the message, like, what I'm trying to relay in my music. Staying on topic in the songs. Like, what are you actually trying to convey? Not just rapping necessarily. Getting better mixes and stuff like that. Just all type of stuff. Just an awareness to say I need to grow.
Yeah, I want to talk about you taking off on social media, because I mean, while don't get me wrong, that's exciting. Like you know, that's so exciting. Everyone wants to go viral and trend and things like that. There are so many different sides that come to that, though. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to gaining so many followers at once, getting everyone in the world's opinions at once, getting the attention of everyone at once. Yes. Can you talk about maybe the pros and the cons, the good and the bad that came with that virality that you hit when it came to your music?
Yeah, so at first, y'all, when I say I didn't even realize I was going viral, I didn't even realize.
Was it on Instagram or was it TikTok?
It was Instagram.
Okay.
Like, I knew a video had went viral. Like, I had this video. It hit like 8 million views or something. Like, the Shade Room posted it. Like, I knew that video had went viral. But I didn't know, like, in a whole sense, I had no self-awareness. Like, yo, all my stuff is going viral. Until this, like, this was kind of interesting. I started, like, finding other Christian rappers and artists and stuff. And I'm looking at their stuff, and I'm like, they ain't got no views on it. Like, I'm looking at other people's stuff, honestly, and I'm like, wait a minute, I got 200,000, they got 1,000 views. Wait a minute, my stuff is... then I'm looking at, like, some other, like, a celebrity or somebody will follow me, and I'm looking at their stuff. I'm like, I got the same amount of comments and... Like, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, wait a minute, my stuff is... Like, it kind of hit me like I just, like, I had no idea for, like, a good little while. Like, I was just like, I wasn't even thinking about it. So it's like, when it hit me, though, it was, like, some pressure that hit me. I was like, oh, snap. I gotta keep this up. So it kind of made me think that at first, but that probably lasted like a few days, honestly, because it's like God checked me like really quick. Like, you didn't start this to keep it up. So what you mean you gotta like keep it up? So that was like a phase of like just feeling the pressure of like, dang, all these videos is going crazy and I gotta keep this up. But like I said, God kind of checked my heart on that to say like, there's nothing you can do to keep this up necessarily. It was also definitely like the opinions definitely was messing with me for like a little while, especially because it was coming from so many Christians. Like, it got to the point I just told someone else this. I was like, I don't even think I want to call myself a Christian rapper no more.
No, those comments make you feel like that.
Not even on no, like, I want to hide that I'm a Christian, but it's like, I don't want to be associated with y'all.
Right.
If this is what y'all out here claiming Christianity, acting like this, like, I don't even want to be associated with y'all. So that was kind of a thing of, like, just having to, like, reading the comments and not being so used to so many different people speaking into what I was doing, because prior to that, even though that like the moment happened when I was doing like secular raps and stuff, like it was like a bunch of fire emojis. Like, people wasn't really talking like negative that much. Like, this was like people speaking into it and having negative opinions. And then it was all of these people that are saying they're like Christians and they're like, this is evil, this is demonic. Like, you shouldn't rap. So it was like me getting out of my head with that. And even just not having to check my heart posture, even like going back to like the viral part of it, like God had to like check my heart to remember, like, I didn't start this to go viral. Like, I never posted a video and was like, I'm gonna try to go viral. It just happened. So it's like not allowing my heart to get in a place to where that's what I'm doing it for, rather than like, I'm doing this because I want to display God's goodness through my life, through my talent, through what he has given me. So just making sure my heart is always in the right place as far as like why I'm doing this in the first place. And that takes constant going back to. That's why it will be times people probably don't notice because I don't announce that I'm leaving. And not to say every time I take breaks off social media, that's the reason why. But there's been plenty of times I'll just leave.
No, like, I feel you.
I'll just get off for like a month or something just to
recalibrate.
Like, what's name? Like, make sure. Because I heard someone else say it, but it hit me when they said it. We weren't really created to get praise and stuff in the first place.
I think I heard Sam Rivera.
Yeah, I think I heard him say it. Yeah, when he said it, I was like, that's a fact.
No,
like,
we can't handle it.
We were never created to get like praise and things. So it's like balancing that. But then it's also like, I've just matured a lot from that point. Like, I feel like now I am at the point where it's kind of like I don't feed into the good stuff or the bad stuff.
That's healthy. Yeah.
Like I'm not finna like pick and choose, because I feel like that can be toxic as well. So it's like I don't feed into anything, and I always just try to remember, like, I feel like the only way I could ever get prideful is if I forget who's behind it, if that makes sense. I feel like that's the only time people get prideful is when you think it's you. Yeah. And it's like, this is God, and I know it's God, so it's nothing for me to feel like, oh, y'all like me, or this is going by all that stuff, because it's like, yeah, this ain't even me, and I know it ain't me.
But I think it's crazy that, you know, as an artist, especially as a up and coming artist at that time, for you to have a moment in which you're like, okay, look, I gotta maintain my relationship with God. I gotta make sure that I'm not people pleasing. Yeah. Like, being free from that alone is like a huge thing that I think a lot of artists will be so much better at their music if they were free from such a thing, such as people pleasing. Yeah. So, but let me ask you this, because at the beginning of the interview, you mentioned, you know, a lot of your family was kind of doing the same thing that you used to be doing, like smoking and different things of that nature. How did they feel when they saw you, like, popping off on social media? Like, did they say anything? Was there any opinions there?
Nah, just because they knew, like, my walk and stuff was real, like, they knew I had changed so much. They wasn't even, like, surprised like everybody else.
Really?
Like, a lot of different people who I, like, disconnected with was kind of, like, surprised. I'm like, oh, I see you now, stuff like that. But they were, like, they'll say, like, we always knew, CiCi. We always knew you was going to.
Really?
Yeah. They're more like that. Like, my direct family, for sure.
Very supportive.
Yeah,
like
supportive.
Even your parents. I know that your parents, you mentioned that they're ministers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were very much so supportive.
Yes,
Good.
they were supportive for sure.
I feel like I love the fact that you're very aware of your consumption when it comes to social media and music and just your spirithood, things like that. Yeah. I feel like you carry I honestly feel like one of the reasons to why you are able to have and maintain all these blessings is because you have that stature. Yeah. I just feel like you're really responsible with the position that you're in. Yeah. How does someone properly steward influence given at this magnitude?
Yeah, I feel like the first person I think of is Jesus, for one. And this was my example to understand, like, don't worry about if I need to step away if God tell me to step away for a year, if that's what I have to do, I have to do it. But it's like, the Bible talks about how Jesus, like, began to become famous and stuff a lot. Like, it says that in the word, but that he would just withdraw a lot. And I feel like that's one thing, is doing a lot of withdrawing. And sometimes it don't have to be a big hiatus, like a month or something off socials. It could be even privately. Like, it's times I'm posting, but I'm not even really on socials. Like, people see, you ain't see my post. I'm like, no, I'm not really. I just post or scheduled that and hopped off. Right. Yeah. I may have commented back to a few things and then I was off. I wasn't really on there, because it takes a lot of withdrawing for one. I would say it does take self-awareness, but I always say self-awareness is a gift from God, because I really feel like it's more of the Holy Spirit just convicting and bringing things to your attention when we talk about self-awareness. So I think it takes a lot of self-awareness to understand, like, what it is that you can even, how much of socials you can even consume. Because like I said, when I recognized that I was going viral, I would probably still be lost to this day for the most part if I didn't start trying to compare. Right. So I think comparing can be a really bad thing. Like, making sure you're not comparing yourself, because you don't never know what no one got going on in the background. Like, comparing can be very terrible. So God had to show me that, like, stop comparing yourself. Don't look at other people's stuff with that intention to just, like, compare or something like that. So not comparing. I feel like I'm not answering your question, because it just came to my mind. You said stewarding your influence. But and just making sure I'm, like, this is the biggest thing to me, is just having integrity. Yeah. Like, making sure that people, and though people can't, like, they're not with me day to day, just making sure I'm living in a way that if they were to watch me every day, they would say, she's still the same woman of God that, like, I thought she was, for those who, some people think I'm something else because they don't like rap necessarily. But like just making sure I'm actually walking in integrity and just really staying at the feet of God, having accountability.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's my biggest thing is like, again, that drawing away to spend like this secret place time with God, just to make sure my heart is always postured correctly.
Let me ask you this, because there's a lot of young artists out there, and I love that we parked a little bit and talked so much about your childhood, your upbringing, and even your entry into music. Do you have any advice for young artists that want to be in Christian hip hop? Because I know everybody's journey is going to be different. But if you were to at least give someone a couple pieces of advice, what would you say?
I would say, for one, don't look for validation.
That's good.
And because that was my thing at first. Like, even before people were starting, I would literally be like, why ain't nobody following me or like my stuff? Like, look for validation. Don't look for validation. Remember, if you're truly doing it for God, that's like the only validation that you really need, is the validation to know, like, I'm literally doing this for the Lord. So that's where you should seek your validation from ultimately. So don't look for validation from other people. I would say to be a good steward of your time and your resources. Like, everybody don't have everything, but everyone has something. So you may say, I can't shoot videos or something, but you can still make content on your phone. Like, I do believe starting off, you do have to have some level of consistency. Like, it does get to a point where you can maybe not be, you have people who know you by some point, but I feel like early on it takes some level of consistency. So just finding what works for you and actually stewarding your time well and the resources that you do have. I would also tell them to serve something or somebody. Like, don't only be caught up in yourself,
what you're doing, your agenda.
And from there, I will also say, especially in the Christian space, because I hear a lot of up and coming people, and I feel like sometimes, I'm not gonna say that, but that's what I would say. That's what I would say. That would be my.
Listen, like, when I tell you, like, for real, I love CiCi's personality, because there's moments where it's like it's so down south, but then, like, she still got a little pinch in New York. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love that about you, because, like, you're like I said at the beginning of the interview, you are who you are wholeheartedly. Like, your transparency is like just radiating through the camera, like even in our conversation through the mic. Because you do so much, and because you steward so well, you serve, like, you do all these great things. You have, like, really, I feel like in my personal opinion, you've really mastered a lot of different things that a lot of people tend to try to overcome. What do you do just in your own free time?
All right, so I like to work out a lot.
Do you really?
Yeah, that's like most of my free time is just like working out. And really, this gonna sound weird, but I actually like recording and stuff. So that, I know it's not really my free time, kind of, because it's like, this is what I do now, but it feels like it's still like, that's still my free, like, I actually like recording. I actually like doing content now to an extent. I didn't like doing content.
Why didn't you like it?
Because it just felt like unnecessary at first. Like, bro, I gotta rap. I don't want to.
You want to focus on the music.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to do content, but like, now I actually like it, so I like doing content, but that don't feel like free time. But really, gym, sporting stuff. I be going to basketball games and stuff a lot.
Okay, so did you play, like, growing up?
Yes.
What'd you play? Basketball?
Yeah. So I go to a lot of sporting events. I be taking my nieces and nephews a lot. I be trying to make them have fun. I have fun, like, letting them explore different things.
Okay, so you're auntie.
Yeah.
How many nieces and nephews you got?
I got 5.
So you the cool auntie?
Yeah.
I love how sure you sounded saying that.
I really am.
I got you, though. Like, you know.
And I had a really cool auntie growing up, too. Probably in a toxic way. I still love you, but I had, like, a really cool auntie.
Yeah.
So, like, I was like, I'm going to be a cool auntie, too, but not, like, a good role model, not, like, toxic. But, yeah, they I always gotta ask them just to be sure where line. Like, who your favorite auntie?
Yeah.
Like TTC. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So yeah.
I want to talk about music for a little bit.
Yeah.
I will say this: any person. Let me see if I want to be accurate saying
You
this.
good?
Yeah, I can confidently say this.
Okay.
Any person who I ask who their favorite artists are in CHH, your name is always mentioned.
Oh, glory to God.
And I think that says a lot just because even in what feels like just a couple of years, you've made great strides in the space. How do you feel about the current state of Christian hip hop now with even artists, about how social media, how it's influenced, how maybe even the spaces of being in mainstream, we've been given opportunities, even like good or bad. How do you feel about the current state of CHH?
I feel like the current state of CHH is excellent, really. Like, I feel like the quality of music that's being made and the amount of artists doing it, I've never seen anything like it. Then again, I wasn't really tapped in before, but it just feels like I think is that amazing. Say, even when you mention like the different platforms and stuff, like even some of the platforms I'm gonna be doing like on the radar, different stuff like that. It shows that it's doing well by that alone. Like you're seeing us I seen Aaron on Sway. Like you're seeing us on different things. At one point, and much respect to Lecrae because I feel like he definitely pioneered it. But it's like if you weren't Lecrae,
you weren't getting no love.
You ain't gonna be in spaces like that.
Yeah, you not. Yeah. So the fact that they're recognizing like us as like a whole, like as a genre, as like a collective, I think speaks volume to what God is doing through the space.
Are there any areas of CHH, the state of the culture, that you feel like could be improved upon?
Maybe, but I don't feel like the answer just because I don't feel like I can articulate it well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I got you. Now, when you were coming up, what were some Christian hip hop artists you were listening to that was like, all right, y'all making some waves. I see what y'all are doing. I want to go in this way.
Growing up, like I said, I listened to like, I did watch a lot of battle raps. So like, I think it's like Smack and all of them. I don't watch no more. And then definitely Nicki Minaj, probably like most female rappers growing up.
What about CHH?
Oh, none. Nobody.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't listen. Yeah, no.
Wow.
I discovered CHH by like I think Lecrae had like the Blessing song. But I didn't even necessarily like I didn't think like, okay, he's singing like a Christian genre type song. So he's like, this is like a whole genre or anything. I just thought it was a song, but then people started telling me like, no, he's an actual Christian rapper. So I had listened to what album did I don't know how I'm forgetting because I literally listened to that album back to back. I think it was Restored in like 2019 or one of those albums. But I found him, and then Kanye West dropped Jesus is King, I think.
Okay, I got you.
So I really didn't know nobody. I didn't know Christian rap was a thing.
So tell me, this is so interesting. So when you started seeing some other dope, like CHH female hip hop artists, especially Christian hip hop artists, like the Anikes, the Toya Loves, the Portia Loves, the TK Lees, Queen Lees, all of them, and you started hearing like Holy Girl Summer and, you know, Holy Girls Up, like the Holy Girl Gang movement. What did you think? Like, what was going through your mind at that moment?
I don't know. If I'm being honest, let me think. Like, by the time I started here, I feel like by the time I started here, I kind of got on to different people, like, as I was, like, in the space. So I thought it was unique, for one. I know I felt that. Like, I was like, I ain't never, like, because you have people say other, like, sayings about themselves, like trying to represent themselves as women.
Yeah.
So to hear someone say Holy Girls, I did think that was, like, lit. I was like, y'all lit for that. Like, that's smart. Like, there's a lot of different name associations we could be, like, associating ourselves with. So I thought it was unique, and I just thought it was lit for real.
Yeah.
How does it feel being a part of that movement? Because even when it came to the hype of Don't Worry About It, and then following, you got Stay Low, which you were a part of.
Absolutely.
And then the Stay Low remix. You know, how does it feel to be a part of the rise of women in CHH, to see us be more and more embraced, included in all aspects of the genre?
Yeah, I'm blessed, and I'm grateful too for people like Portia and I'll call you a Nike.
Nike.
Love you, sis. I was just texting you and I. But I'm grateful because I definitely feel like they like, I want to say like just like pioneered or like started a wave of just like a different. If I'm being honest, I wasn't familiar with anybody else. I think that was like the first Christian girl rap song I heard was that.
Really?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it was definitely Don't Worry About It.
Yeah.
Like even the visuals and stuff, like all that stuff was like next up. I'm like, this actually hit. It's a difference from saying something hit because it's Christian versus saying something hit because it like really hit.
Yeah.
So I was like, this actually hit. So to now just have the opportunity to even just be like friends with them, like connected with them, us actually doing this together in a sense, I'm like, it feels like full circle, and I'm honestly like blessed. I'm grateful for it.
That's crazy. Okay, so I'm the more we talk about like your upbringing and your most recent journey into Christian hip hop, I'm learning that a lot of this is really recent. Like Slick was like just 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So like now you being a woman in Christian hip hop, how do you encourage other women through your platforms?
Yeah, so I really, for one, try my best to be as, what's the word I'm looking for? Just like welcoming as possible, and just encourage people back.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's big. Like literally just liking people's stuff, commenting on it.
Yeah.
Telling people about it. I got playlists, adding them to the playlist. Like like stuff like that really just to me it like makes a difference because it was a time where I felt like I needed that. Like if somebody would have shared my song or spread the word, like it means a lot. So really just supporting them in that way.
Good.
If they have events and stuff, going to their events, stuff like that. Encouraging them via text calls, stuff like that. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about music, historic things happening in CHH. You are the first Black female Christian rapper to be signed to Capital Christian Music Group, which then for anyone who doesn't know, that's the same label as Dante Bowe, Tasha Cobbs Leonard, Chris Tomlin, Hillsong, and now Childlike CiCi. So describe what that feels like, you know, being the first woman and Black woman hip hop, you know what I'm saying, Christian hip hop, to get an opportunity like that. How did that even signing come about? Are you able to share about that?
Yeah, it was, I'll try to answer both questions. So I was actually getting approached by like a lot of different labels and stuff like that. But in some senses, I knew I didn't want to sign to like a mainly secular label and stuff like that. I knew I didn't want to do that. And so I was having different conversations. I was actually about to work with another label. I'm not going to say the name. Like I was really close. Like I literally had like a long form, like to where I could have signed it. And then I don't know who reached out, but someone reached out to my manager and asked to have a meeting with me and stuff. So they flew me out there and I talked to them. But I really just felt for one, the building kind of understood my principles. Like I was very like firm and really blunt, honest, like to be honest, because I didn't even want to try to sugarcoat it. Like this is who I am. Like I really love Jesus. I'm not gonna tone that down for nothing, for any opportunity. I don't ever want to hear can't say Jesus in a song. Like I'm one of those. Like I'm. If y'all ever, how do people say it when they Christian? Sometimes they be like, you're a Bible dumper, whatever. Call me one of those, something like that. Like I'm that person. So I'm not finna what's name. And after having that conversation and seeing how they like reacted and like accepted and understood what they were getting into with me, that made me feel more comfortable just saying, all right, they're clear on who I am. And that the building in a general sense, like you named some of the artists, also have similar values and stuff. So that was like a big thing. And also for me, like I was like very independent. Like it's a lot of rappers, like no shade, that be claiming they independent, but it's like y'all not independent. Like no shade to it because it doesn't matter. But I'm saying like it's levels to like indie, like really doing everything for the most part, like by yourself.
Yeah.
So I definitely honestly needed a team to just help to better steward and manage what I was doing, where I was trying to go. Cause there's certain things you just don't even know until somebody like brings it up. Like, hey, you know, you could be doing this. Hey, you know, it's a sync opera. You know, this different things can happen. Like, so it was like one of those, like after that straightforward conversations and then me explaining to them what I was lacking around me and what I needed and them explaining to me what they could provide and stuff. It was, and of course a lot of praying and fasting and stuff. It kind of led me to that decision. But on top of that too, just understanding that, I know eventually I want to do like my own label. It'll probably be more of like an independent label situation.
Okay.
So just being able to actually be on the inside, I'm very hands-on, like with my stuff. So I already feel like I can run a label at this point. Like, like just from how hands-on I've been able to just be and see everything. So from that aspect and just creating future opportunities for people who come after me that look like me. Because I do believe some people, it is just better to be independent. Like you can rock out independent, but some people, like someone like me who was in a position where I like really needed help.
Everybody's different.
You may need a team at some point, and it's different versions of deals. It doesn't mean you sign away all your stuff or anything, but you may need a team. And I want to make sure if God allows me to be the one to steward this correctly and grow and build, they can look at the next person, the next girl, black female, and say she can do it too, or the next young black man as well, and say, let's get more of these hip hop people, situations, deals, or partnerships, however different people decide to do it. But so yeah.
I want to talk about this EP.
I was about to say, because I'm ready.
By the time everyone's listening to this, it is out right now. You guys can go buy it on all music platforms. It's time. It's the title. What inspired that title for you?
It was two things. So the first thing was I just feel like it's time for real. It's time to. It's just a different time. Like you, even going back to the question with the space, it's just time for Christian hip hop, this wave, this revolution to really just hit all new heights. Like even in fact, by the time the EP dropped, I think Alex Jean, I seen a post recently. I think someone told me he's dropping a tape around this time. Hobie, like all these great, like it's really just time. Like it's really just like time. Just. And as the word says, it's a time for everything. And I just feel like it's one of those times.
It's your season.
It's a great season. And then also like my favorite song on the tape is called It's Time.
Oh, I was gonna ask you because I heard the project. And before I give my favorite song, I wanted to ask you your favorite song and why.
I like It's Time. Damn, do I like It's Time the best? Okay, so the project has changed. So at the time when I named the it's hard. I don't know. That's a bad question. It's Time is one of my favorite songs. I like FFM and Rest of My Life. It's one of my favorite songs. If I'm not missing, we changed the project. It's only like it's a 5-song EP. Y'all don't listen to that. I'm gonna be offended. Like take like 30 minutes, play it at the gym or something. Listen to the project,
which is crazy because I love Water.
Really? Oh, I forgot. But see, that's what I'm saying. I forgot. I'm forgetting songs because we switched stuff out. So I'm like trying to remember the track list myself right now. But yeah, I love Water too. And that song was not an easy song to put out. Well,
honestly, I was going to ask you about it because it was my personal favorite on the project, because it just seemed like so much went into the engineering, into the writing, into the whole craft of the entire song.
So that...
But it sounds like it. It sounds like you invested a lot of time into it.
So yeah, that song, I actually recorded that a while ago, like a year ago. So I recorded this song a long time ago, but it was a sampling problem. So I was told at first when I got the beat that it wasn't any sample on it, but it turned out to be like a group in London or something. So when we went to go try to clear the song, it was like, wait a minute. Like, so we literally took that song, had it like reproduced, like a new beat around it. They sent me that version. I'm like, no, this not it no more. Like everybody was like, it sound the same. I'm like, no, this not it no more. So I was like, I literally was fasting about it, and then I had a meeting with my team, and somebody who don't even always be in the meetings and stuff was there. And I mentioned, I was like, y'all don't think we can try one more time to try to get the sample cleared? And they was like, oh, we don't know. And then his name is Cap. He was like, I can help with that. Like, he was just like, I can help. I can try to get it cleared. And he helped.
Shout out to Cap.
And we got it cleared. But yeah, it was a lot of what's next. I wrote 100. I be trying to tell people this because I'm very passionate about writing my own music. Yeah. If y'all go to my credits and y'all see a bunch of writers, those are like producers or like the people actually singing like the way, like the what's name parts and stuff. But I wrote 100% of the song. But yeah.
Oh my gosh. I feel like that sample really helped make it. It was like the icing.
That's what I said.
Cake.
Yeah, I was like, we can't not have this sample. Like, it wasn't there no more when we tried to do the new version. I was like, this not it. Like, something got to give.
Shout out to Cap.
Yeah, shout out to Cap, man.
Because I love it.
It's something about Rest of My Life that feels like a love song to me. I don't know what it is about. I don't know if it's just like lyrically or even the chorus come in. Yeah. It's something about it that just feels so... I don't know, like as if you were like writing a love letter to God. Can you talk about what it was like writing that one?
Yeah, so Drea from Reach, Alexandria Dollar, I call her Drea. She does a lot. Her and her team does a lot of my production. But they're the ones actually on a hook. Some people think it's me singing. Yeah. So they're the ones like who did like the background vocals on a hook. So they came up with like that background part. I'm doing like the lead vocals that I came up with, but that's how I felt when listening. Like when they sent me, them on a hook like that, I was like, man, this feels like a love song. Yeah. I have different versions of these songs. Like one day I'm gonna put out like, this was like the first version, like this was the second version, but I switched it and stuff like that. But that's what it feels like to me. That's the direction like I took. It was like, I need to express like, this is why I want to spend the rest of my life with God. Yeah. Yeah. So.
I love it.
Man, CiCi, I think there are so many different themes we talked about. I think just talking about your upbringing, even I love that you even like really speaking even into praying and fasting, and even you talking about your evolution, you just really loving God for real. It reads in your music and social media and everything like that. And I think that's beautiful, the fact that you're given the opportunity that you have now, because it transpires through so many different people. As we close, what are some things that you talked about having a label and you making music and you having these aspirations? What do you want your legacy to be? Like when it comes to like long term, when people look down the line, like how we will for a Lecrae or Andy or a KB, when they look down the line and see what Childlike CiCi brought to, I won't even say CHH because I believe that of course it's making headway in the mainstream in just music. What is the legacy you want for people to look back and see that you left behind?
A few things. So for one, I want them to see that I never had to compromise. I got as far as God wanted to take me without ever having to compromise. That I brought people along with me, because ultimately that's like to pull as many people up as possible. So that I brought people along with me. And that, those are the main two things. Like, and that's like the path I'm trying to like create even now is just a path that shows, y'all, we can do this. We don't have to sell ourselves to any level of compromise or watering down who we are as believers. And God will take us as far as we want to go. If I got to compromise to get there, then I got to compromise to stay there. And I also wasn't meant to be there in the first place. Right. So it's just that, and just that she brought people along, and that she just represented the kingdom well in every opportunity. I feel I'm talking in third person, like I'm saying she. That I represented the kingdom well in like any space or area I'm in. Because even like with this weekend, like me even being on more secular, like worldly platforms, I want them to see that we can do that without watering down. Like it's just that. Like I want to bring, who be saying, I think Miles Minnick be like new mainstream. Like that's what I want, but not in a way that requires compromise. That's when I hate to see it. It's like, dang, we got on there, but then we was trying to We just trying to water downplay, like, so it's one of those.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Man, when I tell you, Meah, I am so grateful for just having this conversation. Because number one, CiCi, we have the opportunity of getting to know you. Thank you for so much for your transparency. I think it's honest to say that Christian hip hop is in good hands. You know what I'm saying? Like I've never felt like, oh man, there goes the generation, there goes the demographic, or there goes the entire genre of music. Because I mean, like watching you, seeing you, hearing your story. I mean, you know where you've been and you know where you're going. And I think that is so awesome to just have artists like you that look like us, that's young, that's fresh, that's quick to the mind, that can hold a candle to even a lot of these guys. Like Christian hip hop had been such a male-driven genre for so long. And to see the Holy Girls come up, to see the Anikes come up, to see Childlike CiCi come up and literally take other people under their wing, but truly not compromise, stand with their convictions and know that they love God and do it fully. I just simply want to say thank you to you for representing us just so well.
Glory to God. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And before you go, give everybody social media sites so that they can stay connected with you.
Yep. So I'm at Childlike CiCi everywhere. If it's a 1 or something there, it's not me. People be out here trying to scam y'all. But it's at Childlike CiCi, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, everywhere. I think I got a Snapchat too. I don't be on there, but I'm on there.
But you on there?
So yeah, at Childlike CiCi everywhere.
Listen, make sure you guys are following Childlike CiCi on all social media platforms and go get the EP, man.
Go get it, man.
It's time, baby.
It's Time, man. Go ahead and get it on all music platforms. We're going to go ahead and play It's Time featuring KB, all by Childlike CiCi. We'll be right back right here on You Already Know.
It's M&M Live Radio.
You back with your girls, Meesa